Well, hello, everyone. Good morning, and welcome to our first safety update in quite a while. And we appreciate everyone jumping in and joining us this morning. You're going to hear from Chris, our facilities manager, and then also Chef Kathy is going to go over some kitchen safety updates for you. We have so many new volunteers. Yay, we're so excited to see you guys join Second Helpings. We know and believe that it's the best place to volunteer, hands down, no argument about that. So we're very happy that you chose Second Helpings to serve, even though you may serve at other places, but we're glad that you chose Second Helpings. So I'm going to, hey, Kathy, let's start with Chris first, and then we'll go into the kitchen thing. So Chris, you wanna take it away?
Sure. I don't really have a presentation or anything for everyone, but I did want to just kind of tell everyone as we started to go through a lot of the building procedures and what we do around here every day. We're just trying to kind of bring everything together and conform so everyone knows what we're doing. There's a lot of policies that just become relaxed, and we don't understand what the proper method is. So we're trying to just kind of bring everything so that we have the same opening time for everyone, entry time for everyone. Be aware of like we want volunteers to come through the volunteer door. Just because the dock's open, we don't want to come that way. But just we're working through that to try and make sure that we have the same continuity of service to everybody. So that's pretty much what we've been working through recently as far as safety stuff. We're trying to, control entry procedures, just make sure that we train our staff on the proper procedures too. I know with COVID, that's been kind of our focus recently when it comes to safety and health, but we're trying to open that back up to being aware of, if there's someone that we don't know, we stop them and we ask and be like, hey, can I help you? Oh, I'm a new volunteer today. So, to, direct them to Michelle and, best to kind of walk them that direction, because if they don't know the building, they haven't had a tour, they don't know where they're going. So just kind of trying to bring a continuity of service to all of our staff and volunteers and just bring procedures together. That's pretty much where we're at. Anyone curious on specifics? If I had something more for you at this point, I would. I can tell you we kind of got a lot of irons in the fire. We did set up a safety committee. We've had a few meetings. We're kind of working through some of this procedure. So we don't really have a lot of it ironed out yet, but we're hoping to get there soon.
One of the things I also wanted to mention, I'm sorry, and I'll talk this, we right now, we want to make sure that everyone knows the times to get in the building in the morning for their shifts. We want to make sure that you are arriving no earlier than 7:30. 7:30 is going to be the earliest time that you can get into the building. And that's for several reasons. One, we just want to make sure that the staff coming in is prepared for your shift, and we don't want you waiting around, and they just need to make sure everything's ready to go for you. So 7:30 for all the shifts in the morning is the earliest that you can get into the building.
Okay. Yeah, and I would like to chime in too with I can tell you we are going through a lot of training on our staff right now. I've gone through the OSHA regulations course, and I'm now an authorized outreach trainer. So all the staff around are going to either have their OSHA 10-hour certification or OSHA 30-hour certification. That'll just kind of help all of us identify potential problems in the building as we're going through. A lot of people haven't been trained as well as they should have. So our hope is to kind of bring that up to date and bring that up to compliance so we can identify more.
Chris, why don't you introduce yourself? A lot of people might not know who you are.
Hello, everyone. I'm Chris Renelay. I'm the facilities manager. I took over a lot of Mike's duties when he retired. So I deal with a lot of the building maintenance, but I also spend a lot of time writing policy, both maintenance, preventative maintenance, dealing with all of our contractors, whether it be, on capital projects or just the facilities related ones. So I took up a lot of that. Pretty much Mike's duties were split between me and our controller, Julie. So between the two of us, we took over kind of what
Thank you.
Mike Eli. Who's talking about Mike Eli?
Can I get everyone to mute, please? Because we're getting a lot of background noise. And then if you have a question, then you can unmute, but we need everyone muted. Thank you.
Oh.
So just hit your microphone button and make sure it's a red line through it. All right, good. Okay. Any questions for Chris?
Yes, this is Sal. Can you park on the over by the Concentra on that side, or is it better? There's a lot of traffic on the other side with the vans coming in and out and stuff. Is it okay to park on the other side and come in the front door, or do you need to come in through the back entrance?
Those spots that we have on the side by Concentra, those are actually just designed for visitors to come up to the front door. So it's really best if you either park on the side with the volunteer door or the back lot. The overflow area is probably the best.
Okay. And then I think I thought, well, I'm going to sign in over on the other side of the building, and it looked busy where the vans were. So I went around to the front to get in, and I didn't realize you had to, I think you had to press the button to actually get in. And then they were like, well, who are you? And that type of thing. And they said, well, volunteers normally come in the other door. But so I didn't know if it was okay to come through the front or always through where the vans are.
Sal, that's normal. Like on your first initial visit as a new volunteer, we have you come through the front doors. And I apologize if I didn't tell you moving forward. So moving forward, you can come through the side door by the docks or the very back door. So that's on your very first day, we want you to come through the front door.
Okay, thanks.
And moving forward, yeah. So you're good. Okay. Any other questions for Chris? Okay, well, Kathy, take it away.
All right, good morning, everybody. My name's Kathy Jones. I'm the executive chef here at Second Helpings, in case I haven't met any of you. Thank you guys so much for everything you do. I am gonna share my screen here, and we're gonna go through just like a quick kind of safety presentation. Oh, hey, Michelle, can you let me share my screen?
Yeah, hold on.
Okay.
Let me see where I'm at.
We're going to go through a quick presentation of just different things in the kitchen. We're going to hit, maybe one topic on the front desk and maybe one in the hub and driving and such. So there we go. Thank you, Michelle.
You're welcome.
Sorry, guys, it's not sharing what I want to share. Give me 1 second. I apologize.
Screen sharing, I've decided, is my nemesis. I can never, I can practice, then when it comes time to do it.
There you go.
All right, does everybody see that now?
Yep.
Okay, awesome. So, first of all, welcome and thank you so much for being here and all of your help to feed Indy. We can't do this without you. I'm still struggling here with my slideshow. You guys got a next slide now?
Yes.
Yep.
Okay. I can't get it to start from the beginning. So let's see if we can get it there. There we go. All right. Now I can see too. Okay. So safety comes first at Second Helpings. How do we help keep Second Helpings volunteers, staff, and students safe? And that's kind of what we're going to just run through quickly today. And then at the end, we can talk about questions and everything. So we'll start out. First of all, when you're hungry or thirsty and you're in the building, please remember that only closed containers with straw or a sip top are allowed in the kitchen. So no open beverages or screw tops, even those water bottles. It's best if you have a cup that you've either got a straw in or, you know, the cups with the built-in straw or whatever. No snack or food in the kitchen, and we have plenty of snacks and drinks in the volunteer break room. All of that's for you for free. You can also, if there's a table out in the dining room away from where they're preparing food, you can also sit out there if you'd like to. Front desk procedures, and I'm just going to touch on this a little bit because I know Michelle has a whole different orientation and meetings for the front desk. But just a couple things again for safety to prevent pest and potential foodborne illness. Front desk volunteers should be careful to make sure you return all your plates and silverware to the dish room promptly after you've eaten, and don't use to-go containers at the front desk. Leaving food out of the refrigeration can speed up the process for foodborne illness. So if you've taken something home, just make sure you get that in the refrigerator so it's not hanging out at the front desk there. All right, now we're going to talk about proper kitchen attire if you're volunteering in the kitchen. We want to make sure for your safety as well, no shirts, sleeveless shirts or shorts. All shoes must be closed-toed. Remove watches and any dangling jewelry. Make sure your long hair is secured before entering the kitchen. Hat, hairnet, bandana are all acceptable measures of that. If you need a beard guard, we are happy to get you one of those. And the big thing is when you go to the restroom, make sure you take off your apron before going in the restroom. There's hooks outside the door, so you can always just take your apron off, hang it up on a hook when you're headed to the restroom. Hand washing procedures. We're just going to go over real quick what those are. You want to make sure that you wet your hands and arms and using running warm water. Then apply the soap. Lather your hands by rubbing them together with soap. So I don't know how many can see my hands, but I like to do this, then like this to get in between my fingers, and then like this to get underneath my fingernails. You should do that for about 15 to 20 seconds, or like, as we like to say, you can sing the alphabet song or happy birthday. That usually rinse hands and arms thoroughly after you're done scrubbing using running warm water. And then you want to dry your hands and arms, and you always want to use a single-use paper towel. Don't use your towel that you've had in the kitchen or your apron or anything like that. Just use the single-use paper towels. When to wash your hands. So there's a whole list of this. So food handlers must wash their hands before preparing food or working with clean equipment and utensils. Hands also must be washed before putting on gloves. So you want to make sure that you wash your hands also after the following activities: using the restroom, touching your clothing or your face, anytime you cough or sneeze or use a tissue, eating, drinking, smoking, or chewing gum or tobacco. If you've handled any soiled items, trash, dirty cans, anything like that. After handling raw meat, seafood, or poultry, after taking out the trash, anytime you handle any chemicals that are going to affect food safety. When you change a task, you want to make sure you wash your hands. Leaving and returning to the kitchen, handling money, using electronic devices, or touching anything else that may contaminate hands, such as dirty equipment, work surfaces, or clothes. So we'll talk about gloves a little bit now. It's really important that you have the correct size of glove when you're wearing them. If they're too big, they're going to fall off, and you'll also cut the tips of them off if you're chopping, and the next thing you know, they're in the food. And if they're too small, obviously when you're trying to put them on, they're going to tear or rip easily. You want to make sure that when you're putting your gloves on, that you hold them by the edge and avoid touching the glove as much as possible. And then once you put the gloves on, make sure that there's no rips or tears and they're good to go. You never want to blow into the gloves to open them up or roll the gloves down to make them easier to put on. And we have plenty of gloves in the building. Chris makes sure of that. So never wash or reuse your gloves. You can change your gloves as often as you feel you need to. We talked about this a little bit. Wash your hands before putting on your gloves or when you start a new task. You do not need to rewash your hands each time you change gloves as long as you're performing the same task. So if you're chopping meat and you just want to change your gloves and you haven't done anything else, you don't have to wash your hands then. But you do need to wash your hands before putting your gloves on when you change a task. So what is a new task? Things like opening the cooler door, if you're carrying a bus tub, if you write a label, if you're switching from one product to another, if you've been chopping meat, now you're chopping vegetables. And anytime you open any doors or drawers or anything like that. And then we talked about, again, we're just going to talk a little bit about you want to change them as soon as they become dirty or torn, before beginning a different task, after an interruption, such as taking a phone call, and after handling raw meat, seafood, poultry, and before handling ready to eat food. So there is one, I guess, we technically don't need to wear gloves unless we're handling ready to eat food. So the tilt makers, if you don't want to wear gloves, that is fine. You don't have to wear gloves. We're cooking the food to 165 degrees. So that kills everything on there. So sometimes gloves also are a false sense of security for us because we can't feel our hands, and we don't realize if the gloves are dirty or not. So it's really important to pay attention to your gloves. Knife safety. You want to make sure that you always cut with the blade of the knife angled away from you. Don't try to open anything with the knife. And you don't need to use it to cut strings, bones, metal, or paper. We've got scissors we can use for that. You want to make sure that you're always using a cutting board, and you want to keep it firmly in place. And you can do that by putting a damp towel or a damp paper towel underneath it, and that keeps it from moving around on the countertop. Never cut anything that is placed in your hand. I know we all have a tendency to take that avocado pit out or whatever. Make sure that whatever you're cutting is on the cutting board and that you've got enough room to do that. Make sure you use the right knife for the job. So we have mostly chef's knives in the Hunger Relief Kitchen, and that's mostly what we use. We have different sizes of them. And we also do have a few paring knives around if there's a very small job that you need to do. Hand wash and sanitize your knives. So we've pretty much got that taken care of for you. All you have to do is put your knife in the container that has sanitizer water in it that is by the dish room door. You don't need to wash your knife, but if you ever do wash your knife, you want to make sure that it never leaves your hand. So you take it to the sink, the 3-bay sink in the dish room, you wash, rinse, and sanitize it. You don't want to drop that in the water. If you do drop your knife in the water, first of all, never try to catch a knife no matter where you drop it. But if you drop it in the water, get one of the kitchen assistants. We'll get that knife out of there for you. We don't want anybody getting cut. Make sure that you always hold your knife by its handle. And the knives go back into the drawer wet. So what happens is they get washed, rinsed, sanitized, and then they get placed back in the drawer. So if you open the drawer and the knife is wet, there's nothing wrong with it. For the sanitizer to work properly, we want that to air dry. Again, super important, no matter where you are, if you happen to drop a knife, stand back, let it hit the floor. Nobody's hands are worth the price of the knife or your feet. We have new knife sharpeners. So if we use different sharpeners, sometimes we'll pull out a sharpener in the kitchen. It tends to dull the blades because we're using different angles. So the knives will be sharpened on Wednesdays. And if you need to sharpen them during the week, we like to use the steels that are also in the drawers. So if you're not comfortable using a steel, again, grab one of the kitchen people and we're happy to sharpen that for you, or you can grab another knife. We are constantly replacing the knives. So if you have any issues with knives, let us know and we'll take care of that. Tasting food you've prepared. You always use a spoon to taste the food. Don't use your hands. Stand back from the food preparation area to taste. So we don't want to taste it over the tilt. We'll stand back. Do not double dip your utensil. We have plenty of those also, as well as plastic spoons and such. Do not use a kitchen towel to wipe off your face when you're hot. If you want to keep a kitchen towel with you and that's strictly for wiping your face off, that's fine, but make sure you keep it separate so that's not getting on your hands or in the food. And you, again, always want to make sure that you've got a straw and water bottles when you get hot. Make sure you've got the correct cup that you're using. A cup with a lid and a straw, or a bottle kind of like this. I use a bottle, you can't see, sorry. Bottle that has a straw built into it. In the hub, if you're out there, please make sure that you don't open and sample any foods from the bakery flats, especially. There's always lots of good cookies and that kind of stuff, but we're sticking our hands in there and that's not healthy. So if you find something that you just have to have, talk to one of the staff and we'll make sure we can get that to you and enjoy all the snacks that we put in the break room. Michelle and Toma are really good about making sure there's all kinds of snacks in the break room. Volunteer drivers and companions, and John, I think, is on here, so he may go over a couple of different things if he needs to. But make sure that when you're taking the hot meals, if you're delivering hot meals, that you only take them once one of the hub coordinators has checked that the temperature is correct. We want to make sure that we keep the cold food refrigerated until you're ready to leave the building. And dirty milk crates and flats, we have two places. You can either stack them in the dish room or they can be stacked in the dirty area where the crates and the flats are. We want to make sure we're not putting those with the clean crates and flats. First aid. If you cut or injure yourself, the first thing you should do is advise a staff member immediately. There is a well-stocked first aid kit in the break room, and we're all here happy to help you find your way to the break room and take care of your first aid needs. Lunchtime. So lunchtime is a learning exercise for the students. We will serve lunch every day, but the food served for lunch will vary. And there are some days that lunch will be prepared by the hunger relief staff, or we may even grab some salads and stuff from the back. So please remember that it's a learning exercise for the students. Sometimes it's going to be a great lunch. Sometimes it's going to be a not so great lunch. But again, they're learning. That's why they're here. And that's the whole purpose of lunch, is for the students to learn. We do want to make sure you're fed. So if it's a day that the students aren't cooking, we will still have lunch out there for you. And I know everybody's concerned about COVID-19, and the only news that I have for you guys is we will review all of our policies on March 31st. So there may be some updates coming from Linda, our CEO, at that time. Questions?
Hey, Kathy, before we do questions, John, is it anything that you wanted to add as far as the hub and anything in the back area? I think he's on.
I thought I saw him.
John, are you on? Okay. I thought he was. Okay. Well, never mind. Maybe at a later date. Okay. Nora, is anything that you wanted to add?
No, just thank you very much.
Okay.
Thanks to the volunteers. You guys are amazing.
You are amazing. You are amazing. And
hey,
also,
I'm sorry. I
okay.
am on. I was on the phone. I couldn't get off the phone.
I thought I saw you and I was like, hey, where's he at? So, okay. Anything that you want to add to about the back and that area in the hub?
Well, I think Kathy kind of hit on the key points about, you know, we shouldn't be getting into items, keeping the cold items in the cooler as long as we can, etc. I guess I would just add that what we used to consider the overflow lot is a great place for everyone to be parking. Most of our staff parks as far away as we can just because we're so limited on space, and with all the traffic in the warehouse and in the lot to the east, it gets a little hectic. So I would say if anyone is totally comfortable walking a little extra, it's probably the safest as far as dings and things happening. I mean, we don't have a lot of fender benders in the parking lot, but the more space we can allot is always appreciated, and by our partners that are coming to pick up pallets of product, makes it easier for them to have access. But yeah, just mimic what you all said. You know, we're just appreciative of everyone's support, and you know, keeping each other in line, and everyone helping, making sure we're functioning as safely as possible. That's really all I have to add.
Okay, John, before you go, can you let everyone know who you are? Because I'm assuming everyone knows, but
I'm sorry.
For the sake of, you're fine.
I'm John Minor, Food Rescue and Transportation Director. I've had the privilege of holding this position for almost 6 years now, and gosh, just love being a part of the team, and thank you all for everything.
Okay, and then I'm gonna go back to Nora. Nora, can you let everyone know who you are? For those who don't know.
Sure, sorry, I was having a hard time unmuting. I'm Nora Spitznagel. I am the Senior Director of Programs. So I think I have the best job in the building.
No.
I work directly with, isn't it fun to have a job where people argue who has the best job, not the worst job? So I work directly with the food rescue, job training, hunger relief, volunteer program, and partner agencies. That said, there are great people in all those roles. I just try to keep everybody happy and make sure that they have what they need. And I started as the manager of volunteer services. It'll be 17 years next month. So I know the power of the volunteer program and what it does for Second Helpings. So we truly could not do this without you. Thank you.
And you're welcome. I'm gonna go to Toma. Toma, can you let everyone know, introduce yourself and let everyone know who you are and what you do?
Sure. I'm Toma Aston, and I am the Volunteer Services Coordinator, so I report to Michelle and assist her with volunteers, but mostly I work with the volunteer groups that we have coming back now, yay. And that said, since I am booked with lots and lots of volunteer groups coming in, I would love some of the volunteers to step up and be kitchen leads and take all this knowledge you just learned today and share it with the groups that come in, because they come in not knowing anything and are here for a day and need some smiling, knowledgeable faces from Second Helpings. So we have the best volunteers ever. If you think that would suit your needs, come see me.
Okay, and I think, Caitlin, you want to go next, please?
I'm gonna try. I don't have great sound on this, so if it's all crinkly, I'm so sorry. Hi, I'm Caitlin. I'm one of the chefs in the Hunger Relief Kitchen, and I'm our kitchen manager. Please, if you guys ever need anything, just come to us, let us know. Look for the black coat or anything that probably says Second Helpings or our name tag, and you should be able to know who we are. Love having you guys here. We super appreciate you. Thank you so much.
I believe that's all the staff that we have on today. I don't think I'm missing anyone. And if I am, please forgive me. I'm going through the names. And so that covers all the staff for today. So Kathy, I'm sorry I interrupted you, but I wanted to make sure everyone knew who was talking. So now it's open for questions. Anybody have any questions for anything that we just talked about? I know that's a lot of information and this is being recorded. So if you need me to send this to you, I would be more than happy to send you the link so that you can have it and look at it later on as a review. Okay, so open up for questions.
Hi, Michelle, this is Sel again. Couple quick questions, basic questions on the hand washing. Is there a hand washing station somewhere other than the bathrooms? And then the other question is the red and the green sanitizing buckets, are those, when do you use those and are they replaced and what's in them?
Okay, we do have quite a few hand washing stations. There's 4 hand washing stations in the kitchen and in the hunger relief kitchen, and there's 1, 2, 3 in the 2 in the CJT kitchen, and there's also go ahead.
You were just getting ready to say, I bet, 1 in the dish room.
Right, 1 in the dish room. So there are quite a few hand washing stations throughout the building. The red and the green buckets, the green bucket is a cleaner. Basically, it's just dishwashing solution. And the red bucket is sanitizer. We use those when we're wiping down the tables. So you want to use the green bucket first. So we kind of think of it as green is go and red is stop. And you use the red bucket afterwards. And you just want to let those tables air dry. Those buckets are replaced when they're dirty or at least every 4 hours. So the solution in the red bucket is just our dish sanitizer solution.
Okay. And you said I've helped on the tilt. You know, I haven't worked in a kitchen before, so it's all interesting to me. Sorry about the basic questions, but on the tilt, you know, some were not wearing gloves, but you know, you're not touching food and there's a lot of hot stuff going on. So that all makes sense. And then when you do need to touch food, then you wash your hands, put gloves on. How about the ovens? So the same thing with that, because you're taking on and off the oven mitts. Do you need to wear gloves or just when you're gonna be touching the food?
Just when you're touching the food. So when you're pulling those trays out of the ovens, you're not really touching any food, so to speak of. So yeah, you don't have to wear gloves at all. You know, obviously the oven mitts or your towels to pull them out, but no, you don't have to have gloves on.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Any more questions?
Yes, I have a question. This is Monique.
Hi, Monique.
Hi. Question on the gloves. The gloves we have now are not powdered, and so trying to put them on is very hard if you're not totally dry. I assume those were donated. Is there a plan to stick with the powdered one down the road, or is that what we're going to have for the foreseeable future?
Yeah, we're definitely, so when COVID came about and reared its ugly head a couple of years ago, it was very hard to find gloves, period. Mm-hmm. So Mike was still here at that time, and every time he could find gloves, he would order them. So we actually have a pretty good surplus of gloves now. And I think as soon as we go through these, and Chris handles the ordering of all of that, we have had a lot of things donated also. But as soon as we get through all of this, I think that the plan is to go back to our regular powdered gloves. Is that correct, Chris?
Originally, we were actually going away from those. If it becomes a problem, we can go back to them. We're going away from them because we've had people that have reaction to the powdered gloves, and we're trying to just consolidate the number of gloves we had to keep on hand. If it continues to become an issue of the powdered is the preferred method, we can go back to ordering both. But we do have some volunteers that have a reaction to the powder itself. So we were stepping away from that. And the only thing that's been ordered recently are the powder free.
Yeah, the only thing is that even when if you have those fingers sticking out. So talking about cutting your gloves, even if you're wearing the gloves that fit you best, if you're just a little bit wet or even dry, they just stick out. So you always end up having to watch even more. So, and trying to encourage changing gloves, it doesn't help when you know, oh yeah, I'm going to have to fight with these again. So that's the only thing.
Okay, maybe we can, as we run low, have a little of each.
I understand the logistics of not having too many kinds, but when you're working especially when you have a messy job and you're trying to change the gloves as often as possible so your glove doesn't slide, or that's fine, but just wanted to find out. Okay.
Hey, Frederica, you had a question?
Yes.
Okay.
If I got correctly, a t-shirt like I'm wearing now is not allowed.
Yeah, it is.
Like, it is?
Yes.
Oh, so, okay, so you mean when you say sleeveless is like with okay, only because for the language I wasn't sure. Okay.
No, you're fine. Like no tank tops, no sleeveless, nothing. Everything has to come.
This one is okay.
Fine.
Okay.
Yeah. And next time come in, I'll give you one of we have some second helping t-shirts that we were giving away. So remind me to give one of those to you.
Thank you very much. And another question, if I'm making sandwiches, and for example, let's say I need to take some ham from the refrigerator. So with my gloves on, I open the refrigerator, take the ham. So in this case, do I have to change my gloves, wash my hand and everything before restarting making the sandwiches?
Yeah, so take your gloves off before you grab the handle.
Okay.
And then put on fresh gloves after the fact.
Okay.
Wash your hands, just because, again, that false sense of security, you grab that handle with those gloves on, and then maybe somebody comes behind and grabs the handle without gloves. Now we've definitely got cross-contamination, so we always want to wash our hands.
Okay,
And
thank you.
We're happy to, especially for a lot of the people going through a lot of sandwich material, like if there's a kitchen assistant in there, we will grab stuff for you from the fridge or open the door or whatever. Like I'm happy to do that too. But like Kathy said earlier, we have plenty of gloves, so just take them off and we'll get you more.
Okay, thank you.
Is there an update on renovations for the facility?
Chris or Nora?
I can give you a short on that. So we do have the contract for the renovations right now. It'll have to go to the board before we get final approval. Hopefully we'll have a starting time sometime in May, and then both projects should be done in the June or July area.
Anything else?
Michelle, this is Barbara.
Hey, Barbara.
Kathy may have referenced this, but I missed it. The mask policy after next Tuesday. By the way, that was a terrific commercial I saw last night with Kathy and the man from Channel 6. I can't think of his name for their benefit.
Yeah. So as of right now, all we know is that our policies will be reviewed on March 31st. So nothing will be coming out until after March 31st. So I know we're all anxiously awaiting what is going to happen. But yeah, we're trying really hard. We just want to make sure everyone is safe to get through Corks and Forks. And by that, I mean all of the staff. We want to make sure that we're all healthy and can be there, as well as all of you guys, so you can be there too. But believe me, as soon as I know, I'll shout everything as loud as I can to everybody.
Thank you.
And Chris is building a fire pit for us to bring all our masks in, and we'll have a really fun party, a mass burning party, and maybe chef maybe cook something amazing for us. Or I mean, yeah, hey, look, listen, we're all in this together, but I cannot
Yes.
or that enough that it is so important that we all stay safe for Corks and Forks. This is the first time we've gotten to do this live and in person. And for a selfish reason for me, because I've never gotten to attend one, I want to be there. So, and I want all you guys to be there. So, yeah, that's a selfish response for me, but so yeah, we're getting there. And I mean, words cannot express how grateful and how appreciative we are to all of you for hanging in there with us. But we know that it's not about us. And if anything was to happen to shut these doors, it would affect so many people in our communities, and it would be devastating. And we're about feeding our communities, and our mission is transforming lives through food, and we want to continue to do that. So just hang in there with us, and we're going to.
Yeah, and I'd like to add a little something to that, Michelle. You said it all greatly, but one thing that we've done over the last 2 years is really watch everything. So yeah, we're looking at it on the 31st. Hopefully it'll be very appropriate to not mask, but if things change, you know, if things change in the fall or something, then we might go back to it. So it's very fluid, but our goal is to not wear masks also. So yeah, I got nervous when burn all the masks. I'm like, but what if we need them?
Maybe that was a little.
I like the imagery though. I like the imagery.
Just that vision. Can you just? Yeah. So you know.
Yeah, I like the imagery. Thanks.
Don't bring your mask in yet. We'll be okay. Yeah, yeah. Okay, are there any more questions for any of us? We're so happy that, again, that you attended. If there's something that you think of, once we hang up, all of us are accessible. So please let us know if you have any questions, concerns, or I still need volunteers for Corks and Forks, so it's not too late. I know I put a date in there, but if you're interested in volunteering, there's still spots available. So shoot me an email. Not say no. I will plug you in. Love to see you.
Michelle.
Yes, Hope.
Hi there.
Hi,
if
Hope.
we're talking about safety, I'm the one to ask. I'm a volunteer. I've been there about 6 years now, I think, 6, 7 years. Sorry, I'm in the same room as my husband. Sorry. Okay. We're talking about kitchen safety and knives and cleaning and safe spaces, but what about just be aware of who's around you? There's a lot going on in the kitchens. It's easy to run into somebody, or if you have a slippery spot on the floor, when you're walking in and out of the refrigerators or the blast chillers, you know, take a look and open the door slowly. I had a little accident a few months back, you know, coming in and out of the refrigerator. So just telling people, you know, there's a lot going on. Just kind of walk slowly, be careful, be aware of who's around you, people pushing carts, hot trays, all that stuff. So, I mean, it seems like common sense, but there's a lot going on.
Yeah,
Oh,
I agree.
We appreciate you saying that. And yes, that's very important.
Yeah. And I think that as a chef forever, you know, sometimes I'll go behind people and I'll say behind, or I have a knife, or things like that. And there's nothing wrong with you guys saying those items in however you want to say them. You know, mine are pretty short and behind, hot, knife. But yeah, so it's a whole different language in the kitchen. So yeah, feel free to, like Hope said, look around you and also say, hey, I'm coming through. Can't hurt,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
One of the things I love to yell is corner. Like the first kitchen I worked in, we do that. It's really helpful if you're coming around the corner, just to let someone know, because we do have some tight turns there. Also, hi, Hope, we love you. But yeah, just be careful. And it can feel kind of silly yelling at first, but it's super helpful. Sharp, hot knife, whatever. Like Kathy said, but corner can be really helpful if you're turning and you don't know if someone's there, especially if you're carrying stuff.
Okay. All right. And put in the chat, carry your knife down by your leg. Absolutely.
Yeah.
You don't want to carry it straight out or anything like that. And again, you want to make sure the safety is for you as well as everybody else too. So you don't want to carry that knife any way that it could hurt someone else or yourself.
Okay. Well, if that's it, we're going to log off now. And again, thank you so much for taking the time to join us and get updated on everything concerning second helpings and safety. Enjoy this wonderful day. Get out, smell the flowers. Oh, there's no flowers yet, but anyway, maybe some buds. Anyway, do something. Get outside. Get out the house.
Right.
Yeah. And have fun. And we love and appreciate all of you. So we'll see you soon. Bye.
Thank you.